Welcome, adventurer singular, to the Prologues, Valya's version.
Yeah, let's do it.
Buckle up, it's about
I'm
to be
not
a
stressed.
bumpy
You're
ride.
stressed. No,
That is entirely accurate.
no, it's okay.
The year is 759 PD, the year after Aramil Nailo was elected counselor. The previous counselor to the High Warden may have died under some mysterious circumstances, but you were told not to worry about it, so you don't worry about it. For context, this is about 15 years before the events that have taken place on where we're currently at and the rifts of reality. As you're making your way out of the Emerald Citadel, an unfamiliar weight sits on your chest. A gift from Sophron. He's been the steward of the Nilo house since before you were born. An incredibly sweet old man, always ready with a cup of tea, a story, and a smile. He always made sure all of the other staff understood. They were to keep their mouth shut when you'd hide out in the kitchens, just seeking company and maybe a little bit of an escape. He's given you gifts before, but this one's different.
Oh,
It's this beautiful perfume bottle, a translucent amber color with intricate gilded edges hanging from this elegant gold chain. Roll me a perception check.
oh boy, my strength. It's fine. Okay, let's see.
Or investigation. I'd let you do investigation.
Okay, all right, that's better. Oh wait, I have my thing on this one, not the other one. Skills. That's a 23.
Fair enough. So you notice a very faint shimmer, a swirling mist that seems to be inside this. You get the vibe this is definitely magical, but not like any magic item you've seen. You're familiar enough with magic items, you know, that you spend some time with them, you can attune to them, and you understand them just by spending time with them. You're not getting that with this. It's definitely magical, but it's not telling you anything about itself. It's secretive, almost.
Like me.
Wow. Unintended parallels. Sophron placed it around your neck with the instruction to open it if you get into any real trouble on your journey.
All right.
So you arrive at the stables, just a small satchel of personal items with you. The rest of your belongings already packed into the caravan for you. A couple of horses are being pulled out. A few of the Verdict Guard. You see Lady Vasily off in the distance, getting onto one of the, not wagons. They're so much nicer than wagons. I can't call them wagons, but
Sure.
it's not quite a carriage. It's more of an open carriage type deal. With a bit of, you can see your luggage is also on the back of that one, but you could take a horse if you wanted, or you could ride in the carriage with Vasily.
Where are we going?
There's also a wagon of supplies being drawn. Not quite as nice, but really just carrying your camp supplies.
Sure.
As to where you're going, you've not been told.
Oh, so we're just going on some kind of emissary.
You've not been told.
Yeah. So she just called me up, or she just. How long have I been? I just would have recently started as an emissary, then, right?
You have not started as an emissary.
I see.
For meta player context, you've not heard the word emissary.
Okay. I'm just trying to wrap around
I mean, you've
what
heard the word
yes,
before,
yes, yes,
but
yes,
like
yes.
not in that context.
Sure. Okay. I was trying to wrap my head around what Valya is. Okay. Okay. Cool. So before all this, so Lady Vasily is just a
So
lady to me.
little timeline wise, so far you've been recently, uh, the past couple years you've been training with Lady Vasily as your tutor, and she's been teaching you the arts of diplomacy, a little bit of subterfuge, persuasion,
Mm,
even some of the finer arts like entertainment.
fair enough.
And you've been doing well. The reports to your father have been as glowing as Vasily can get.
Okay. Gotcha.
And you've been told this is a diplomatic mission that you're being sent on with Lady Vasily.
I mean, realistically, at this point, she'd probably just get in the carriage with her then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, you see uh, a larger, grayish skinned, half orcish, 3/4 orcish, a little bit more than half orcish man, dark black hair, dreadlocks tied up into a bun.
1 second, Toria. Okay.
Hi, Tori.
Here, give me 1 second. What, Toria?
Oh, you already did that. I thought you were going to type into do it tomorrow.
Okay. Sorry.
Hi, Tori. I love you, Tori.
Aaron loves you, Tori. Aaron loves you.
Does Tori want to join?
you. Okay. So half.
Come on in, Tori. We'll write you up an NPC.
There we go.
Vasily. Or some rando mercenary.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this orcish guy with the hair up in a bun.
You're familiar with him. It's Lady Vasily's bodyguard, Kraos.
Kraus.
So he's saddling up his horse and looks to be he'll be riding alongside the carriage. On the other side of the carriage, an elf you haven't met. He's blonde, looks to be maybe a sun elf, very tan skin, looks to be, roll me a history check, actually.
Okie dokie. Well, that's gonna be really bad because I rolled a 2. Let's see what history bonuses.
The uniform he's wearing, it's
7.
it kind of looks like the Verdant Guard uniform, but not quite. It doesn't look as polished. It doesn't
Sure.
look as it looks like a rough and tumble version of what the Watchers wear. There's a lot of variation between the different ranks of the Verdant Guard. If you had to guess, he's probably one of the lower ranks.
Okay. Sure.
But as you're approaching the carriage, he'll look you up and down and actually bring his horse over to you. Hi, Lady Valya?
Yes? Hello?
Excellent. I'm Kynan Yuma. I'm a drifter, and I've been assigned to you.
You've been assigned to me.
He kind of shoots a confused look up at Lady Vasily. Yes, assigned to you.
I'm just messing with you. That makes sense, I suppose. It's a pleasure to meet you. Kynan, you said.
Yes.
Oh, very, very well. You'll be accompanying us, I suppose, then?
No, I'm just in this for the kicks.
Oh, good. I appreciate you have a little sense of humor. That'll
Ah,
Make things a little bit easier, I suppose, if you're going to be constantly around me.
I'm afraid you might be a bit disappointed. My humor is. I digress.
Indeed.
uh, pleasure. And he'll get up on his horse and uh, not look at you straight ahead.
She just kind of chuckles and is just like gets up in the carriage and is like, and then she kind of like looks at Lady and says like, "Really? I have to have a bodyguard?"
Well, dear, if you're looking to become a diplomat, you have to get used to. She shoots a look over at Kryos. Proximity. Lots of people will want to kill you. I mean, more than usual.
Joys. That's encouraging for sure.
I intended it as such. You're so bright, Valia.
So
Now, yes.
where? So we're going on a diplomatic mission. Where
Yeah.
exactly?
Oh, your father didn't tell you. He was supposed to tell you.
He often doesn't tell me anything.
We're going to Kymel.
Kymel. Okay. And what do I know of Kymel?
Roll me a history check.
History check. 17. Yeah,
Okay. You know Kymel. You know Kymel to be a rundown ex mining town. It hit a really big boom about 50 years ago, a gold rush down in the foothills of the Iron Seat Ridge. But the gold dried up, as it does, and they've made a very clumsy transition into trade, farming, fishing. Not very well. It's not somewhere you would particularly want to go.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. That's what a
Yeah.
wonderful first endeavor, I suppose.
Well, at least the man we're visiting is at least a bit more refined than the rest of that town.
That is certainly good. And we're
A,
going. Oh,
a callous Christian. He's, how do I say this tactfully? I can't think of a way to say it tactfully. He is a merchant. Merchant derogatory.
mm,
She kind of looks around and leans into you a little and lowers her voice. He's our main supplier of more illicit goods. He's the head of the Mid Valley Merchants Trade,
hmm,
which you would know them to be a one of the bigger merchant companies in central Tal'Dor.
hmm.
They run because they are super central to the main cities. They can run goods to Westrun in the east. They can run goods to Iman in the west and Sangorn to the south. It's has the potential to be a hub, but it isn't.
Gotcha.
It's a rundown little backwater town in the valley that nobody wants to go to.
Oh, I see. And what is our purpose in visiting him?
Well, Callus sees himself as a bit of an entrepreneur. He's seeking investors to fund a casino, of all things,
Oh, all right.
in Kai.
In Kymel.
Yes, you heard me.
And well,
And your father's accepted.
oh, Has he?
He has.
I'm sure it's a wise decision then.
I'm sure. I've heard delightful things about the man himself, and I am curious to see if he lives up to the expectations. The bar is high.
Of course. And what exactly would you like me to do on this trip?
We'll discuss that a bit later, maybe tonight.
Very well.
So, pretty much closing the deal. Yay.
Well, whatever needs, if it needs to be done, then I suppose we'll get it done as well as we can.
If only I had your optimism. Very well, we can continue, she announces to the rest of the caravan. Looks to be about 15, 20 people alongside you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, about a third of which are mercenaries. There's a merchant who's traveling up to Kymel, and an empty wagon looking to take some items back with them.
Hmm.
So you're on your way. It's You find out from Lady Vasily, it's about a 2-week journey up to Kymel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's far. I mean, everywhere is far from Singorn. Singorn is isolated in the middle of the Verdant Expanse, right smack dab between the Cliffkeep Mountains and the Verdant Expanse.
Mm.
There's nothing. Singorn is the single beacon of civilization in that area. The next town south, I say town, the next city south of you is Nirdalpoke, which is somewhere you hope to never go. And up north, you have Iman and Westrun, places you would hope to go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
But Singorn is lonely.
Mm.
It's a lonely place, and that's how they like it.
Okay. Interesting.
Is there anything that you would like to do during your day's travels?
Um. She's probably just because she's a little nervous. She's not, this is all brand new to her. This is definitely probably the furthest she's ever been from Singorn. So, um, she's kind of just trying to, and she's not had the experience to be self confident yet. So she's definitely just kind of trying to stay out of the way and not cause too much attention to herself, and just kind of, she'll maybe at some point chat with Kynan a little bit, but nothing crazy, because she's definitely just like trying to like be the model citizen here on their way up there.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Kynan seems he's fresh. He's green. He's definitely not done something like this before. You can tell he's accustomed to the jobs where he doesn't have to talk to people. And this is a lot of talking to a lot of people.
Mm.
And just not something he's not bad at it. He's just unaccustomed to it.
Sure.
You can tell he's roll me an insight check, actually.
Okay. 19.
19. Okay. You get the vibe that he's in this for the travel. He's in this to see the world. A lot less concerned about the people.
Sure.
or he likes to meet people and stuff. It's just nobles make him uncomfortable.
Um, what would this stage of Valia do to this? I try to keep thinking like this is baby Valia. She's not 15 years down the road. She would probably just be like, "Oh, well, you don't have to talk to me. Like we don't. That's all right. I know you've got a job to do, so I'll just let you do that job and maybe get some alone time, and uh, hope you enjoy the sights and everything. I'll just go read my book."
He looks around. You're traveling through the verdant expanse. It's trees.
I meant when we get to Kaimal, mostly.
I'll take it you've never been to Kaimal.
No, have you?
Unfortunately.
Ah, well, maybe it's improved since you were last there.
One can only hope.
Yes, one can. And she will just, she'll just read her book and kind of just be like, okay. She'll probably, check and see if Lady Vasily needs anything from her from time to time. But I mean, while they're traveling, there's not really going to be much, probably. So.
All right. Sounds good. Let me. Where's my D20? Okay. Sorry, I'm rolling for something.
No, you're good. I imagine Valya has a book on Kaimal, and she's like diligently trying to read through it and trying to she's trying her best to get and just be as prepared as one can possibly be on this trip.
Okay.
In a she doesn't know what she's herself into kind of way, but
I would say Kaimal's not interesting enough to have a book written on it.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, then.
You could definitely have a book on regions of Tal'Dorei, and there would be maybe a chapter.
Sure.
A section on Kaimal.
Okay. Well,
it's pretty much everything I told you previously.
Mm-hmm.
You also know it is currently run by martial law. The leader of Kaimal is referred to as the Margrave, which is a military title that's carried over from the Drasig Empire a couple hundred years ago.
Okay.
It's got a public defense, the constabulary. Ugh, I cannot say that word. I'm not going to try it again.
That's
you
okay.
got the gist. And they're relatively well protected. It's a bit seedy.
Yep.
And not the kind of place you'd like to summer in.
Very well. Well,
the mountains might be nice, but you're around mountains all the time, and you've heard the Iron Sea Ridge is nothing compared to the Cliffkeep Mountains.
All right.
So it's unfortunate. So as you are stopping to camp for the evening, can you roll me just a general perception check?
Yes, I can. Let me see. Perception. It's not bad. I'm rolling pretty bad. That's a 14.
Okay. It seems like a quiet night, you hear the occasional rustle of wildlife around you as you're setting up camp, or as they are setting up camp.
Yeah.
Uh, you're not particularly useful in this endeavor, but
Nope.
that's okay. That's not your that's not your area of expertise, nor
No.
is it Lady Vasily's area of expertise. Okay. See. Sorry, I was making sure I had
Oh, you're fine.
my thing. Uh, well, yeah, it doesn't seem
Okay.
seems to be a quiet night.
Yeah.
The sky is clear. Katha's waning crescent. It's a peaceful night.
Wonderful.
Um, Lady Vasily set up in her tent. You see Kynan settling in by a fire a bit a ways from the general group, keeping to himself a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will leave kind of alone for now because she's like the first. She's like, he didn't really want to talk to me, so okay, that's fine. She will go and like go up to Lady Vasily's tent and be like, Lady Vasily, I believe you said you'd talk to me tonight about what exactly all we're doing, on this mission.
Ah, yes. About that. And as you enter her tent, it's very lavish. You don't know how they set this up. It's like glamping to the extreme. It's like Lord of the Rings glamping.
Nice.
She's got a small settee that she's sitting on, a table out in front of her, and she appears to be playing dragon chess with herself. It's a very complicated game. You've never played it. It's meta. It's a little like regular chess.
Yeah.
It's a three level. It's basically 3-level 3D chess.
Oh wow.
Um, but she appears to be arranging very methodically and playing a game with herself. She seems to be in more of a relaxed state, wearing a flowy violet dressing gown and sipping some tea out of familiar white porcelain with gold and lavender. Come in, Valya. I'm running through the famous Dalgar Sungim match. Believe the year was 615. Pity we haven't seen a player like Songim in this century. And she's continuing to move the pieces around.
Valia will just kind of watch quietly, trying to figure out what she's doing, keep track of what she's doing, but she doesn't know the game, so it's not going to be, like
Not particularly helpful.
no.
I would say you can figure out to an extent that no, you have no context for
Just
any
trying to be a
or what.
studious student.
It seems like each of the different types of pieces have different. They each have a different way they can move, and they can only move that one way. And some pieces can jump between the different levels, and some pieces stay on their singular level. But it's really hard to tell what's going on.
Sure.
As a whole. Oh, right. So your role here is, I will be negotiating numbers with Mr. Christian.
Of course.
Well, you acquire our assurances. Do you understand my meaning?
Yes, but I don't exactly know what assurances I'm meant to be looking for.
Assurance that Mr. Christian won't step out of line. Protection, really. It's up to your discretion.
Oh, all right. I'm assuming Valya understands. She basically means like
Yes.
blackmail.
Yes. She is politely asking you to dig up some dirt on this guy.
Because while Valya's green, she's been under Lady Vasily's tutelage for a couple years, so she kind of, she understands.
You know what she means.
Yeah. Oh, very well. I will. Yes, I will figure out some way to do that. She's like trying to think, like, how in the world am I gonna get blackmail?
Your father has given you no inclination how vital it is that this mission goes flawlessly, has he?
Like I said earlier, my father often neglects to tell me anything of importance.
I suppose that's why he gave you me. As your tutor, I've been teaching you the finer arts of persuasion, conflict diffusion, apologetics, even entertainment. There is a purpose in what I've taught. There's a purpose in everything you've learned. What your father is proposing to the High Warden is a new kind of peacekeeper. Us. On the surface, or to the average person, we are to be a neutral third party to help resolve the conflicts, many conflicts, between the noble houses and represent Singorn to the rest of the world. Our best and brightest. So, you are obviously his first choice. This mission, it's your first test. If it goes well, we have approval from the High Warden and funding. If we succeed, we start the first step on our journey to make Singorn a safer, better place. Maybe even make Kaimul a safer and better place.
So, by manipulating this man into doing what we want, we're helping Singorn
Class Valya.
by showing Mr. Callus the right way that this should go and enlightening him to the benefits of going through with this deal. We are helping to ensure the safety of Singorn.
You might misunderstand to a small degree. You're finding our assurances, but Mr. Christian need not know of them until the situation arises. If a situation arises, it's protection for us. Protection for you, protection for this new program, and protection for your father, and by extension, Singor.
I mean no disrespect, but that just seems very underhanded and not very honorable.
Welcome to politics, Valya. It's nice to have you. Have you not been paying attention?
I have. I did not think that I was going to have to put these...
Blood in your knuckles for the sake of your home.
I suppose you could say it that way. You know, this wasn't necessarily my choice, so forgive me if I'm a bit hesitant at first.
She kind of sits back in her chair a bit. Would you like to know my favorite piece? Gesturing to the board. It's a bit underrated, in my opinion.
By all means.
She pulls a piece off the bottom level and places it in front of you. This is called the basilisk. It's fairly free of movement, and with the right tactics, one can use it to single-handedly wreck an opponent's strategy by freezing whatever piece, and she's gesturing to the board again, whatever piece of one's opponent sits in the space on the level above. The match I mentioned earlier, Dalgar lost this match by missing what was right under his nose. Let his guard down. The main limitation with the basilisk is it must stay on its level, and she places it back on the bottom level. When it remains on its level, it does its job. Everyone's happy. We win the game. You're a smart girl, Valya. I'm sure you understand me.
Of course. As if I am smart enough to know exactly where my place is.
Wonderful. You know, Valya, I think you and I are going to make quite the team.
I'm sure that I have no other choice. So it will be the best team that one could hope for.
Any questions about your mission?
Not at this time.
Very well. Now come now. If I told you exactly what to do, it wouldn't be much of a test now, would it?
No, and we all know that I adore tests, so. And she'll kind of. Oh, go ahead.
You've got a pretty face and resourceful instincts. Try using them?
I always appreciate your words of wisdom, Lady Vasily. And
I appreciate your candor.
she'll just get up and kind of, bow, bow to her and then just kind of leave. And her head's like spinning and she's just like, okay. And she'll go back to her tent and she'll kind of just sit and be like, what is this? What did my father get me into? I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Not like I have a choice. Not like I have a choice. And try to her best to start coming up with things that she can do that she can be successful in this endeavor.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. How late do you stay up?
A few hours. I mean, they're just traveling the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
She stays up pretty late. I mean, she's just kind of, nervous, but she goes to bed, at some point because she doesn't want Lady Vasily noticing that she's got bags under her eyes. That would not look good.
Okay. So not getting you any exhaustion, I would assume.
No, I'd say she takes a little exhaustion. She just is really careful with her makeup the next day.
Okay. So go ahead and mark down a point of exhaustion.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. So on this upcoming day of travels, it does occur to you that you seem to be making better time than what most would be able to make,
Mm-hmm.
given that you're traveling on an elf's clock.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Elves don't require sleep, it's just the 4 hours of trance per day.
Right.
So you're able to travel significantly further,
Mm.
faster. So, whatever that means for your journey, it seems to be you're starting to get towards the middle of the verdant expanse. The tree cover is practically completely blocking the sun out from above you. And it's a bit hot, muggy, overall unpleasant day of travel for you. Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy. Perception. And I'm not doing well with these perception checks. 12.
Okay. It doesn't seem like there's any clouds today, making it so much hotter. It is
Unbearable.
unpleasant. Singorn is usually much more temperate in the city due to, magic,
Yes.
and this is deeply unpleasant.
Yes. Wow.
Just roll for you guys. Okay. Good roll. The next few days pass by uneventfully.
Okay.
The evenings are cold, the days are hot. Eventually, your wonderful sun cover is no more, and you're more out in open plains instead of under the tree cover. A bit harder to find somewhere more secure to camp. You have to camp sort of out in the open. It's uncomfortable. Everyone's a bit on edge, uneasy, being out in the plains like this. There are some towns near ish, maybe a day's ride to the east or west, but you're heading north and there's nothing, pretty much. The road is paved. You're heading along, what's it called? There's a name for it that I can't read because the print's too dang small. The Wildwood Byway. So it's paved-ish. It's more of a dirt road, but more than you expected the roads to be outside of Singorn.
Sure.
But these open plains don't afford much cover or shelter aside from the tents that you all have. And everyone seems to be a bit on edge in general. Go ahead and roll me another perception check.
Please roll better this time. What does it say? Oh, 16. That and then plus, I think it was a 4. Yeah. Dirty 20. That's better.
30-20. Okay. You can see up in the night sky, Ruidus. It's not full. That only happens every few years, every decade. But Ruidus, he's bright tonight. The ruddy glow is uncomfortable. People are superstitious about the red moon. But tonight, It looks to be some shooting stars tonight. Some sort of meteor shower. Everyone's kind of just stopped setting up camp and they're taking a beat and watching the meteor shower. It's nice. You usually don't get to see stars like this from inside the city. It's a quiet,
What?
it's a quiet evening.
Valia stays up watching the meteor shower for a while because she is kind of fascinated. Like, oh wow, there's. At one point, she'll probably go up to Kyan at some point, and be like, "Did this kind of thing happen often? The meteor showers and the bright moons and everything that's just things you don't see often in the city."
I'm not an astronomer by any means. I mean, I can navigate with the stars to an extent. You've never traveled this far, have you?
How can you tell? No, I haven't. So I'm just curious, mostly. With someone who's had more experience traveling.
Not that much.
Well, you've been to Kaimal before, so you've got one up on me at this moment.
I've been through Kaimel once. And that was enough, believe me.
Well, where were you going then?
Up to Imon, to the capital, escorting some diplomat. What's his face? Suzarin.
So who do you say?
Oh, what's his face? Caesarin.
Does the name ring a bell to me?
Roll me a history check.
Oh boy. History would be my dice are rolling. I need some new dice. That is a 15.
15? Caesarin, you're fairly certain he's the Singornian ambassador to Iman?
That would track.
Yeah, that would track. You think he has a son or a daughter? Maybe both? At least one.
Sure.
But he's a noble of the noble house. Caesarin is one of the noble houses of Singorn. But there's a lot of noble houses of Singorn.
Yes. And so now you're escorting another diplomat to another mission, another place. So I'm sure that's a lot of fun for you based on your reaction to the previous time you did this.
Kind of cocks his head at you a little. No offense, but the diplomats aren't exactly why I do this.
Oh, no, I wasn't assuming they were. I just was, poking fun at the fact that you seem to be doing this. And I just, I just was trying to see if you were someone who would actually want to talk to me. But I have a feeling that, like you said, this is not why you're doing this. So
No, I didn't mean it like that.
No, it's all right. I know that that you have a job and you're here for that job. So
I was more trying to say it's less about the job and more about this. And gesturing up to the sky.
It is pretty. So I can see why you enjoy it. I think.
It's
kind of
just
looking at like the campsite, like sleeping, rudimentary, but I think.
Singorn's it's home, but it can feel a bit like a cage sometimes. A lovely, lovely gilded cage, but still a cage sometimes. You know, being a drifter, you can leave. You're paid to leave. Go see places, meet interesting people.
She goes kind of quiet for a moment, and then it's just like that. That does seem very nice, actually.
Kind of sits back and watching the stars again. You know, my parents, they wanted me to be a watcher. Everyone in the guard idolizes them, but all they do is watch a bloody wall.
Well, they're doing up their part to protect Singorn, aren't they?
As are you.
Like you know anything about what I'm doing.
I mean, you're a diplomat. You're here to. I actually don't even know why you're going to Kaimel. I would assume it's some sort of trade thing. But I don't really keep up with politics, honestly.
Oh, they're selling me to the highest bidder at the casino, of course.
There's no
No,
casino in Kaimel. There's a casino in Kaimel? This place is getting better by the year.
she's like, well, no, mm, you know what? Never mind. On that front, that was totally all a joke. I'm just here to learn from Lady Vasily and her vast amounts of knowledge. So,
Yeah, she's great.
scary?
Terrifying.
Yes. And you don't have to talk to her, but
I mean, I have had the pleasure of being on her guard before. Luckily, not long. Perks of being a drifter. I'm never in one place too long.
That is pretty cool, actually.
I mean, unless I wanted to be.
Oh, you get to pick.
He kind of sits up a little bit. I'm good at what I do. And when you're good at what you do, you can pick where you go, which is why I'm still a drifter and not a watcher.
Interesting.
But hey, if one of you nobles pisses me off enough, I might see myself a ranger. Hide away at some outpost in the Mire Scar.
Only if you take me with you. Another joke.
You don't like your gilded cage?
What's not to love about gold and glitter and all that comes with it?
My experience with glitter is you can't get it out of your skin. And he hands you a flask. Hesitantly, a bit hesitantly.
She kind of gingerly takes it and she'll kind of like look around and she'll like Lady Vasily's not watching and she'll kind of sniff it and just be like, what is this one exactly?
Do you always ask this many questions?
Well, knowing things is kind of what I'm here for, so.
Well, unfortunately, you're foiling my attempt to drug you and kidnap you. and take
I
you to the backwater outpost in the Mire Scar like you just requested.
well then, by all means, she'll like try to take a gulp out of it. Probably tastes.
Burns. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Mm.
You can tell this is technically a good whiskey.
Mm.
It's a nice whiskey. Surprisingly nice for someone of his standing, but
Where did you
not
where
your
did you get
taste.
this? Did you steal this?
You wound me, Lady Valya.
I didn't know it was so easy.
I didn't steal it. Thank you. We do make money in the guard, you know?
I suppose this is just a pretty nice whiskey. Not that I'm usually one for whiskey, as she takes another swig and then hands it back to him.
See, I'm so kind to share my good whiskey and not the shitty one that I also have. And you accuse me of theft.
I do apologize. I suppose I could get a bottle of a nice wine out at some point and return the favor.
Um,
Or not. I can just give you the nice bottle if you'd want that you drink it at your leisure.
I it's I meant more. I
What
don't know.
would you offered me a drink in the first place? I don't know what all this is about.
Well, I just didn't think someone of your standing would be seen associating with someone of my standing outside of a professional thing.
Well, Lady Vasily may rip me one tomorrow. Who knows? But I don't see her around right now, and we're not exactly in Sangorn, so hopefully my reputation won't be too tainted.
I wouldn't deign to taint your reputation.
And this is why you're still a drifter.
Let me be perfectly clear. I am a drifter because I choose to be. And he'll take another swig from his flask.
And as you said before, you're very good at what you do. And I'm sure I'll get plenty of chances to see that in action. So,
I hope we don't.
a little excitement? You wouldn't want that.
This is plenty excitement for me. Kind of looking back up at the stars.
I could be content with that for now. And she'll also just look up at the stars. And yeah, move well enough alone.
All right. It's a quiet evening. Kynan eventually leaves. It's his turn to take his rounds about the camp, keeping watch.
I will retire, I suppose.
Excellent. You should have been rolling those ability checks at disadvantage.
For what?
Your exhaustion.
I've slept since then.
Oh, that's right. It was a couple days.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot it was a couple days. Just kidding. You're all good. Roll. What's your passive perception?
Let me tell you, ma'am. It is a 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. About. So you go to sleep. It's a quiet night. You hear a bit of shuffling about the camp. The guards still making their rounds about the camp, keeping watch, and you fall asleep. Well, trancing as elves do.
Yeah.
You hear yelling and a bit of a scuffle a bit further away from your tent, and more yelling, and it's getting louder.
I mean, I'll get up.
Breaks you out of your long rest.
I will get up and she'll, throw on a robe or something. And I'm guessing, I mean, she probably has like a dagger or something, but she doesn't really know. She's not super well trained, but she's kind of like, heck, she'll just kind of grab it and she'll just kind of like barely peek her head out, like, what? Like, trying to see what's going on without causing attention to herself.
Actually, before you can peek out of your tent, the tent flap bursts open, and Kynan, looking a bit frazzled,
She's like,
"Ease up, Your Highness.
Sorry.
Go hide somewhere. We've got bandits. We're taking care of it. Don't worry.
Okay. In here? Hide somewhere in here?
Make yourself scarce, okay?
All
Don't do
right.
anything stupid."
I won't this time, just for you. Now, don't die. And she'll kind of just like stumble backwards, like she is like very not like what the heck. Okay. Is there a place to hide in this little tent? I don't really know what the.
In this tent,
No.
the tent is a place to hide.
Sure.
I wouldn't say there's. I mean, you have it's kind of a slightly raised bed that you could possibly get under.
Yeah, she'll do that. She'll crawl over to the bed and try to just like, be really quiet and just be like, I guess this is better than it being out in the open space, so we'll just stay here. Okay.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Oh my goodness gracious. 21.
Oh, great. The yelling is getting louder. You can hear Kynan yelling specifically. You can't quite hear what he's saying, but roll me an insight check.
Okay. I need to one use that. Okay. That one is skills, insight, 17. Bad actually.
Okay. Based off the tone, it's a bit panicked.
I mean, but she doesn't know where else to go. She's just gonna sit there and she's like clutching this little dagger and she's just like, all right, it's gonna be fine. They've got it. They know what they're doing. It's gonna be okay.
You hear the tent flap open, rustling about the personal items that you have throughout your tent. You hear things being thrown around. You can look out under the bed and you see boots you don't recognize, some rattier brown pants, black boots.
She's just like trying not to hyperventilate and just like focus, think, what can we do? And then she does. She'll remember. What's his name? Solus? No.
Sofran.
Sofran's words, and she's like, and she'll just kind of what he said to like open it basically. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess this is me being in trouble, and she'll open the necklace and be like, okay.
Everything goes dark.
Oh shit.
You open your eyes to this haze. It's not night anymore. It's this blur of watercolor sunset. You look around you. You're no longer on the ground. You're upright, gazing around at this endless void of clouds and a swirling pastel sky. A small breeze a bit cold, bites at your cheeks. And you see this cloud beginning to take form, swirling almost like a tornado, beginning to form and swirling towards you like a storm, but it's this beautiful swirl of pastels in the sky, not gray like a storm. In the middle of this swirl of clouds, it begins to dissipate. You see a man. A man? Probably. This wild curly hair, white and wispy, almost cloud like. It continues into a very well kept beard. His skin is rich, vibrant blue like a summer sky. Eyes piercing metallic, shifting shades of warm and cool silvers. He wears these richly embroidered silks, a tailored formal wear that's a style you've never seen, which is odd. You know fashion. And he steps out of these clouds, and somehow his heels click against an invisible floor. There's no floor beneath you, just endless pastels, endless sunset. But he appears to be walking down invisible stairs as he levels a gaze at you. Huh. Well, you're much prettier than the last one.
Thank you. I think. And she's still like clutching this dagger, just like, I'm
Your
sorry.
dagger is gone.
What?
Your dagger is gone.
Okay, she's like, I didn't mean to intrude. I will just be going and try to like figure out where the heck she is.
He crosses his arms and looks at you a bit amused. Go ahead.
Thank you. Still, where exactly am I? And who are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, first things first, what's your name? What's your sad tale? Better make it good. I've been immeasurably bored.
I'm sorry. My sad tale? I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, everyone who opens my vessel has this sad tale, a tale of woe, how they're powerless in their situation, and only I can save them from it. And they turn out to just be some power-hungry, self-conceited prick that only wants to use me for what I can do for them.
Oh, you're saying my perfume bottle is your bottle? I didn't know. It was given to me.
I mean, you opened it, did you not?
I did. Like I said, it was given to me by a dear friend. He just said to open it if I were ever in trouble, and I was in trouble, so I opened it. Not sure what I was expecting, but this was certainly not it. As lovely as you are.
Thank you. Your name, dear?
I'm sorry. Valya. I'm Valya Nailo, and you are?
You may call me Emrys.
Emrys. A pleasure to meet you, Emrys.
It is.
So, okay, it was your bottle, and by opening it, I entered your space? I'm trying to figure out.
That works. You just
So it was
popped
like a
in for a little
portal.
visit. Not quite. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself what it is. Um, you gave me your true name.
Should I not have? How and how do you know that was my true name?
I'm a bit insightful. True names have power, dear one. I'd guard yours a bit more closely if I were you. Pretty faces like ours tend to get taken advantage of, do we not?
Um, I suppose you could say that. Yes.
So, what do you want from me? Everyone wants something.
Well, right now I just one want to know where I am, and two, I was just trying to avoid the bandits that were in my tent. I'm not exactly a fighter, one could say.
You, not a fighter.
I know, shocking, really, from the looks of me.
Well, so you'd like me to do something about your predicament?
I don't see why you would. I don't know you. You don't know me. Um,
I don't.
really, I truly didn't mean to infringe upon your home.
You're not a very persuasive one.
On what?
You're not a very persuasive one. However, are you going to get what you want if you were too afraid to ask?
I I'm sorry. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a bunch of bandits ransacking our place. And I opened this necklace and now I'm in a totally different place. Forgive me if I'm not at the top of my game.
Oh no, you're still in the same place, technically. When once you leave, you'll pop back in the same place you left.
That's comforting to know. I was honestly thinking I was going to have to uh, travel through other reality, or what are they called?
Planes.
Yes, planes to get back home. So that's much simpler.
No,
Uh,
you're not on a plane.
what?
You're not on a plane. Oh, it'd be so much better if this was a plane. It's less of a plane and more of a pocket dimension, so to speak.
And so you just live here helping random people who show up in your pocket dimension.
You say live here, like I have a choice in the matter.
Most people choose where they live, so I suppose that was not the case for you based on that reaction. So you are trapped here then.
Yes. Oh, you really are a bright one.
I usually am, but I'm also not in these situations. So,
In the
all right.
presence of a devilish handsome creature like myself.
That one is a little more common, but I will say you are quite a handsome man. So, um,
Are you just going to stand there looking pretty? Are you here to keep me company? I'm trying to figure out what you're looking for here. It's not every day that I have pretty ladies invading my space.
I will be honest and tell you that I didn't really know why what I'm looking for here. I just was told that this could help me in a moment of danger, so I just followed the instructions given. So, let me regroup myself. You are a being, a jinn. All right. Have I heard of jinn?
Roll me a history check.
Yeah.
Also, I hope you're okay with everybody watching this because Liz is somehow watching this.
No, Liz. Bad Liz! She's not supposed to be!
I didn't send it to them.
How did she get on?
She might have just hopped on our YouTube. And yeah. Dang it, Liz. Stop watching.
I'm texting her right now. I'm like, this has secret stuff. You don't know this yet. Dang it,
I
Liz.
just saw her comment.
What comment? I didn't see her comment. Liz.
Well, this is fine.
It's okay. How long has she been watching?
At least for 20 minutes.
Oof. Well, oh well, it is what it is. She should get off now, but it's fine. She
said, I'm sorry. Okay, goodbye.
You can't say anything now. I'm telling her. Okay, anyway.
What was I having you roll for again?
She said, I heard since the necklace was introduced. Wait, since it was introduced?
Oh.
So, like, the very beginning? Anyway,
So, like, my literal opener.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Liz. Well, this is fine. What was I having you roll for again?
You were having me
roll
for
Jin. History on Jin.
Yes. My goodness. My whole mysterious backstory up in Flint. No, I'm just kidding. History 24 actually is really good.
Okay. So you have read about the Jin. You know, there's different types of different elements. You know, sorry, what was the roll again? 21?
24.
Oh, 24.
Yeah.
So you know there are a few different types. There's the Ifriti, the Jinn, the Tao, and the Marid. For the 4 various elements: earth, wind, fire, air.
Okay.
The Jinn are elementals of the air. And they're home to the elemental plane of air. So not of this plane. You'd also know Jinn are known to make deals with people. And the way to manipulate them is through flattery and gifts.
Oh, you're Jinn. How interesting. That explains a bit.
And you're elf. How interesting. That explains.
Yes, but I'm sure you've seen much more of my kind than I have of yours.
I don't think so. I think I've only ever met one. Was he an elf or was he a halfsy? I don't remember. He had pointed ears. He was something.
Yes, there are several of those. So normally people come in here then and try to give you gifts and flattery and promise you things, or smooth talk you into giving them what they want.
Yes. You're catching up. Excellent.
I understand why you were expecting a different reaction at this point. Oh, very well. Liz said she popped in right as I'm meeting the Jinn. So okay,
oh, of
so
course.
That's fine. It is what it is.
Of course, the one part she couldn't see.
I know. Well, at least she didn't watch all my interaction with Lady Valya, I suppose. That's part of it. But anyway, okay, so based on what Valya knows, does there tend to be repercussions or strings attached when someone tries to make a deal with a djinn? Like, does it seem to backfire, or does you know what I mean? Like, is there anything that like?
It's a deal. Deals are made. The
Okay,
same way you're on a journey to go make a deal. Each side benefits. To what extent each side benefits and whether or not one side ends up regretting it is entirely up to
sure,
opinion.
sure. Um, well, so I was not originally, or I was not planning on making any sort of deal tonight, and I don't have to if that is not something you want. I was really just trying to get out of the situation until it was safe to return. But, um, I mean, if I'm here and you're bored, I don't mind discussing any a sort of deal that could be had if that's what you do. What is it that you want before we get too far down this?
Why don't you use that insightful mind of yours and make a guess?
Well, I mean, the place looks really lovely, so I'm gonna say not an interior decorator.
Yeah. He actually sits down on a chair made of nothing and pulls out, well, I say pulls out, appears out of the ether a gold teapot, two gold teacups, and they're floating on their own. And they actually, a little wispy cloud tendril wraps around the handle and pours a cup of tea, and he flicks and sends one over to you. Have a seat.
She'll look at him and she'll kind of look around and she'll just, okay, and she'll just kind of sit and
And it holds you.
wonderful. She will cross her legs, very ladylike, and blow on the tea. This is lovely, thank you. We're drinking tea.
Oh my. I love you.
um, so,
Let your woman drink her pretend tea, Josh.
thank you. It's a tea party. No. Well, I suppose riches would have no real riches would have no real use to you here. Um, unless is there more of this place, like a town or other people living here, or is it's just you?
He looks around. I may have been wrong. I don't think you are as bright as I thought you were.
A demiplane does not mean that it has nothing in it. There can be things existing within it.
Well, I mean, this place itself isn't so bad. It's the being alone bit that really bothers me. The only people I've spoken to in the last millennia all wanted something from me, and I'm a bit confused that you're trying to tell me that you're different. I don't trust it.
That is a very wise thing. I mean, I can respect that because everyone wants something, I suppose. And you definitely have some more of my respect about for thinking that. Would you stop? Go away. He's like being mean. It's fine. There are many things in life that I do want, just none that I was, you know, um, planning on relying on somebody else for. So, um, so you're correct in the fact that I do want some things. You just want company. That seems, well, I suppose you're all alone. That could be quite boring. I
Emotionally.
what?
immeasurably.
Company is something that I could probably fairly easily provide you if you consider myself interesting enough to keep you company.
You're doing well for now.
You're being too kind. I am.
I am.
Yes, yes.
If I'm being honest, you're being a bit awkward.
She'll like straighten up, like, all right, very well. How is this? Well, someone as powerful and mighty as yourself could certainly stand to help me, so I could in turn help you, keeping you company, bringing you gifts, showering you with compliments. I'm sure that would all be a much looked forward to reprieve from this lonely, empty space.
You're offering me a deal. What would you get in exchange for this seemingly one-sided deal?
Well, I will admit, having a place to pop into at times does seem like it could be beneficial, but I assume that there is more that you can offer me. If people come to you often for deals, then you must have some sort of power or knowledge.
You have no idea, dear one.
I don't, but you could show me.
I could. Roll me a persuasion check.
Impress me? What's my persuasion right now? It's not super high because, I'm level 1, but it's okay. 17, which isn't bad.
Okay.
Let me know exactly what this deal is worth. I don't want to underestimate you.
You have a place to pop into, and I get company. See, I don't really feel like there's a need for an actual, official, blood-binding pact for that. You can just pop in if you'd like.
No, you're right. And for that, I would not even consider this worth our time. I want to know what exactly I can ask of you that you can realistically do for me.
He leans forward, putting his elbows on the knees of his this navy blue silk. What do you want? Like you said, everyone wants something, dear one.
Well, I could give you a whole list of things, but I suppose the most important one, the most consequential one, would be the freedom for me to make my own choices. I don't know, that's probably too intangible a thing for you to really grant. So
It's not.
it's not. You're telling me you can just snap your fingers and suddenly that I am free from all the constraints and bindings that I have to deal with?
Were I not in this vessel, yes. My powers are crippled by this vessel, a whisper of what they could be.
So I could ask you for a pile of gold, and you could do that. And that's or spells or objects of great power. That's probably what people normally come to you for.
A little bit more along my current abilities.
Well, unfortunately, none of that is what I want.
All right. Valya Nailo, maybe you are different. We'll see how different you are.
Don't go getting your hopes up.
And don't trust anyone out there, dear.
What?
And don't trust anyone out there, dear. It's a dangerous world. Like I said, pretty faces like mine and yours tend to get taken advantage of.
Isn't if that weren't already very true? Probably why I'm here in the first place and asking you for assistance in some way that I don't quite understand. So, you're saying if I get you out of here, then you can help me break free, be my own person, more or less.
That's a possibility.
I'm assuming you don't know how to break out of here. You would have done it yourself, so that makes things a little more complicated. But
we don't have to rush into things. I'd like to get to know each other a bit.
Very well. Then for now, we shall have a unbloodied, put into stone pact that I get a place to pop into and you get company. And I suppose that will suffice for now.
Fair enough.
I also am going to guess that Emrys is not your real name, so...
We keep going back and forth. Maybe you are a bright one.
I have to keep you on your toes somehow.
Have a good day, Valya Nailo.
You as well, Emrys.
And everything goes dark. And as things are darkening, you hear very faintly, almost echoey, in your head. You're welcome, by the way, as everything goes dark. And
all right. I wake up under the bed.
You are no longer under the bed. You are adjacent to a bed that has been flipped over. And you hear frantic footsteps bounding towards the tent, and the tent flips open, Kynan peering in, and empty except for you, and it's completely ransacked. You okay?
Thought you were about to lose your winning streak here at being good at your job, didn't you?
Not this time, Nailo.
Yes, I'm all right, I believe.
What, did you toss this room yourself?
I did. I thought there was someone in here, but maybe I was dreaming things. She's very just doesn't know what to tell him because
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Out of nowhere, a tornado touches down, scared the daylights out of the bandits. They fled, and
a tornado
disappeared. A tornado.
The skies are not even cloudy.
No, they're not.
That is so.
Corellin's hand is upon us today.
The what?
Corellin's hand
Oh.
is upon you.
Yes, and maybe I wasn't dreaming, she says, rubbing her head, so they're gone, and nothing too important was taken, I can hope. She'll kind of glance around at her stuff,
That's what I've seen. Was there anything valuable that you had on you?
I mean, probably some gold. You know,
Okay.
like she probably
Yeah.
didn't.
Your gold is gone. 100% gone. Like it wouldn't have taken any books. Did you have any jewelry? You probably had some sort of jewelry, maybe some
Yes.
fine clothes. Those are all gone. But yeah, your books are still there, and
So now I have to go shopping in Kai Mall? That doesn't seem like this is going to work out very well. I suppose I should be grateful that I'm alive and there's...
I'm going to assume you're just in shock of everything.
Yes, just in shock.
You're right. That was exciting. Well, I'm
Yes.
going
Yeah, back
to
to
make
bed.
sure everything's good. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to bed and try not to have nightmares. So, yeah, I'll see you in the morning, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And
Back pedals out. Panic moonwalks out.
And she'll kind of like look at her bed that's like flipped over and just be like, I'm not fixing this. And she'll just lay back. She'll like pull the sheets off and just lay it back down on the floor, and just kind of like. And so is the necklace around her neck at this point?
Yeah, as you pick it up to look at it, a very faint sigil glows on the front. You hadn't noticed it before. Was it even there before? You're not quite sure.
I want to believe that I was dreaming, but I don't think I was, and I don't. What did he give me? What? Oh well, it saved my life for now. We'll worry about the rest later. That's a problem for later, Valya. And she'll kind of just like pull it close to her mouth, like whisper, like, "Thank you." Like, there's nobody in here, but like, just kind of like, because she, and she just kind of like tucks it back in. It's like, all right, we'll see what we do. What Lady Valya thinks about us showing up to Kaimal in our bedclothes, but
in all fairness, her shit was probably stolen too.
Yeah, no, that's why I said how us showing up in our bedclothes to Kaimal. She's going to be very upset, but that's also a problem for Lady Valya, and she will try to get you some sleep. I'm gonna guess she doesn't really sleep because
Probably not. But compared to tonight, the rest of the trip is uneventful and boring.
Wonderful.
Blissfully uneventful. All right. So, do you need a break? Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. So,
I can't believe Liz popped in right then. Like, what the heck?
Oh, worst time. Like, she could pop in during the whole Kynan conversation.
I know.
Or anywhere else, like the boring part where I was explaining the travel. No, she pops in right freaking then. Of course.
It's okay.
It's okay. Liz is good at not metagaming.
No, she's not. She's good. She's good at not doing it. Yeah.
I'm not good at not metagaming. It's a problem. Anywho, so the plains are boring. The skies are clear. You see nothing but a few vultures here and there. The occasional deer. But that's pretty much it. Until you reach Kaimal. And I say reach Kaimal loosely. It's a bit spread out. You see before the actual walls of the city. There's a sprawling town-ish on the outside of the walls of Kymel. And it's a bit more rundown. Let me look at where the gate is. Where are my gates? Yeah, they're gonna be bringing you around. You can see the town outside the gate is kind of gathered off to the north side of the city, and the caravan goes around the side and onto the south side into down into the southern gate. And as you're making your way into this city, town, you can say city loosely. It's big, but it's not. It's pretty run down.
Sure.
The buildings are all sturdy, well made, practical. These were made by miners for miners. They're not at all. They're not pretty. They work, but you can tell they're not very well kept. You're passing through the market district, from what it appears to be, trying to get your way into a nice side of town, if there is a nice side of town. It takes you about 30 minutes to get to the Christian estate. And you can tell this place, it's not like the rest of the city. All the simple carved stone from the Ironseed Mountain, or from the Ironseed Ridge Mountains. This place is a bit more like what you're accustomed to. Some taller walls. It's clean, much a well-kept and renovated version of the rest of the buildings in the city. As you enter, the incense hits you in the face like a wall. It's smoky and spiced and warm. It feels like you've stepped into another culture. It doesn't even feel like the same continent. You feel this warm breeze from the balconies that line this front entryway. This might be a man of taste, refinement, or at least enough money to pretend he does.
He has good interior decorator.
Imported goods, baby.
Yeah.
You're stopped in the foyer by an older matronly woman. Stops you and takes your belongings off your hands and notices that everyone's belongings are very light and is very confused about it. I just lost where I was at.
She noticed their bags are very light.
Oh, this is... Were you... Ooh. And Lady Vasily waves her. Yes, bandits, etc. It wasn't a great journey. If we could possibly get some changes of clothes, that would be wonderful. And the woman bustles off to get you guys set up in your rooms. All of you will have rooms here at the Christian estate for your stay. And they show you to a room. They get you some fresh clothes. Not quite the style you're accustomed to. It's a bit more free-flowing, a little bit more... Roll me a history check.
Okay. History. Hold on. I think history's a 5. Yeah. So 17.
Okay. So you know this style. It's Marquesian. It's exotic. It's not of Taldore. It's from one of the other continents, Marquette. You do recall hearing something about Christian being an immigrant of Ankara,
Oh.
Marquette. And it seems he's brought his tastes over to Taldore with him.
Wow.
So,
She will arrange it so it looks as nice on her as she can, and it's
not hard. It's very beautiful.
Uh,
It's obviously designed for warmer weather, which is a relief
Yeah.
with how insanely hot it's been,
Hmm.
especially outside of Singorn.
Okay.
You don't know how these outsiders deal with this crazy ups and downs of the temperatures.
Yeah.
It's unbearable.
All right. Yeah, so she'll take some time to freshen herself up a bit, make herself look presentable and lovely, and I assume they were, I don't know, wait until they have some sort of whatever's next, or
Okay. You and Lady Vasily are invited to dine with Callus Christian and his wife.
Oh, very nice.
So that will be later this evening. You arrived about midday, so
Okay.
you've got a little bit of time to kill before dinner if you would like.
I suppose she will go look around a little bit then. Seeing as she has a mission, she's just not doing anything crazy yet, but she's gonna go look around and just kind of see, get a little lay of the land.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Oh boy, great question. She is going to be basically keeping an eye out for either some place that looks like it would hold like a study or something, like a place that would look like it would have something more private, but as she's talking to people, she's just kind of keeping an ear out for anybody else that seems like they're knowledgeable. You know what I mean? Because,
So staying within the estate?
For now.
Or
Yeah.
you saying leaving?
No, for now she's staying within the estate. Because they have lunch. They're eating in a couple hours, so she'll just stay within the estate and kind of just look around and talk to some people and just see the general, I don't know, just the general feel of the place. We don't have to play too much.
But roll me a investigation check.
Wonderful.
And yeah, so you're looking for a study? Like kind of narrow down what exactly.
I know. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what she'd be looking for.
Are you looking for people? Are you looking for things?
I'll say right now, I'll look for a study. Yeah, let's go for a look for a study. Investigation 12. Not great.
12. Okay. You ask around for the location of a study, and they'll ask if you're looking for Mr. Christian's study, or if you're looking for a study for like your personal use while you're here.
She will ask for. She chickens out and she'll ask for a regular study.
Okay. Well, you're shown to a regular study. It's very fine. Some mahogany desks line on either side, bookshelves behind them, very comfortable chairs, very different style than it fits in the room, but it does not fit Kymel.
Mm.
Someplace this fine should not be in Kymel.
Mm. Okay. She'll spend a little time here, and then at some point she'll make her way to the kitchen, I think.
Okay.
Yes, I know. Very random. But the
This is what I'm
kitchen,
here for.
and she will just try to strike up conversation and just generally ask people, so, Mr. Christian, what's he like? How does he make his money? Like, just like, they're,
Okay.
yeah,
Asking for the kitchen gossip.
yes.
And
I
you're
think
going
she would probably, I would probably go change into something not quite so formal, something a little,
okay.
Make herself look a little more like maybe she's a servant, and then go to the kitchen and then.
Okay. So Kynan's tailing you.
Kynan,
Like inappropriate 5 steps back.
Sure.
5 paces back behind you.
So, Kynan, I think I will probably be okay until dinner time. If you want to just take a chance to settle yourself in and kind of relax for a minute. It'll just be an hour or so probably till dinner. So
I'm rather settled already.
very well. Well, maybe you can at least just wait outside the kitchen, and your presence would probably cause a little bit of a stir, I would say.
No, Kynan actually did.
Oh, Kynan actually. Yes, I am funniest when I don't mean to be, apparently. But no, in all real sense, waiting outside the kitchen, is that going to be a major issue for you?
Roll me persuasion.
I have things
We're
that I have.
trying to convince this man to not do his job to the best of his ability.
I rolled a 4, so 9.
I can. How about I stand inside, but wallflower, you won't see me.
Very well.
I can change into something less. This. I've got some normal clothes with me if you just give me.
Yeah, that would be good. That's a good idea. Go for it. I'll wait right here.
And he'll scurry off. More towards the opposite direction that you came from, more towards where you would guess the servants' quarters are.
Okay.
Towards the kitchen, actually.
Oh, well then she'll walk towards sort of the way with him. Might as well. And then whenever he gets out of his room.
Okay. He looks a bit askance at you as you're following him.
I'm just heading toward the kitchen. I will wait for you respectfully outside.
Great, thanks. Okay, yeah. Cool. And he'll go in changing. He comes back out in much more common clothing, like still decently well dressed, but looks more along the lines of the same level that the servants dress at here, which the servants all dress very finely here, so not super out of place.
Yeah. Okay. She's like, wonderful. So yeah, we go in. You sit by the wall. I'm going to do my thing. And if any bandits jump out or someone tries to feed me bad, rotten food, you can throw yourself in the way. I don't know.
Well, that last bit actually isn't my job. The protecting you from death is protecting you from inconvenience. That's not really in my purview. Actually, I'd say I tend to cause more inconveniences to you.
That makes you significantly less useful then, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, I don't aim to be useful, Miss.
No, you may not be useful, but you certainly are a tool. And she'll turn and walk away. And she'll go in the kitchen, and yeah, she will cozy on up to some of the people and just kind of like, be like, oh, man, it's nice to be off the road, out of, taking, and then just chit chat them up mostly,
It's a diverse group in here. You are very accustomed to elf and elf adjacent, primarily. The occasional humans, halflings, gnomes, dwarves, occasionally. But over 95% of Singorn is
Right.
open.
Right.
You see a group of races you've only read about. You see there's a younger tiefling girl, looks to be in her late teens, red skin, these gold pupilless eyes. She gives you a little bit of a fanged smile before scurrying out, carrying a tray of something that you didn't really notice. There's a half-orcish man, appears to be doing some dishes. There's a halfling and a dwarf, two humans mixed in. A lot more interesting people than what you're accustomed to.
Sure. Well, I'm going to find the most motherly looking woman that just looks like she's, probably a little bit loud and boisterous, and I don't know, just something that seems like she's got, she's just, those people tend to be the ones who are welcoming and talk to you, and if they,
Roll me just a general insight check to see if you can scope out who you think would be the best to talk to.
Okay. 17.
17. Fair enough.
It is weird being the only person here and having to make so many rolls. It's just like, oh my goodness, I'm using.
Yes, it is very fun. So the woman that you accost, she's a taller Goliath woman, a bit middle aged.
Sure.
For a Goliath, you think? You're pretty sure? But she's a bit of a loud talker and kind of gets in everyone's face a little bit. She tells you her name's Reka, and she is more than happy to gossip with you about the servants that are around the Christian estate in exchange for the gossip about the interesting folks that have just come in to talk to Mr. Christian.
She'll tell her, nothing too deep, but things about Lady Valya and Lady Vasily, and just like, well, they have the nicest clothes, but they have these little quirks, but nothing really like,
Awesome. Okay.
And then I'll try to gently push for information about Mr. Christian. Lord, is he a lord? I don't really know what his title would be.
You call him Lord Christian, and she kind of chuckles to herself a little bit. I know he can feel a bit like a lord here in Kaimo, but he is just a merchant, a kind man. A bit full of himself, if you ask me.
A bit what?
A bit full of himself, if you ask me.
Most nobles are. Or wealthy people, I should say.
She gives you a very knowing nod. Now, I hear he's been back on the Sud again.
Oh, the Sud. Not exactly my taste, but I've heard that it's got quite an allure to some people.
I mean, it's popular in Kaimo, popular in Western. To each their own, I guess.
Hmm. Fascinating.
Now,
I've
tell me,
heard that Lady Valya has, um, well, what am I going to say about my character that's like, um, she's gotten quite a gambling debt racked up back in Singorn, so
really? Now, she like some sort of noble.
yes, she is a noble of sorts, I believe. Um, you
She
know,
set down what she's doing, and she is sitting with you.
a noble, and she is, I believe she's probably out doing these missions on behalf of the city, because trying to earn the good favor of some of the people who might be able to help her with that gambling debt, if what I hear is to be believed.
As far as rumors go, there's usually a grain of truth in every rumor. And that's if the rumors aren't completely true. And she gives you a little nudge on the shoulder. No, you didn't hear this from me. But I've heard that Mr. Christian is working on getting the Margrave in his pocket, if he hasn't already.
Is working in the Margrave? Who's the Mar? Oh, the that's the head of the city, right?
I mean, I doubt he really even needs to. He already pretty much owns the city.
But it would be easier if the Margrave were in his pocket.
A little bit easier. How do I say this? On the trade.
On the tray. Oh, like less taxes.
But
Um,
you didn't hear that from me.
of course, and I would never dream to talk about anything about anyone important.
No,
There,
we would never talk. We would never say anything about anyone. That
other
would
than that,
be.
they're always a good employer and treat us very well.
He does pay well. Tell me, what is Blondie's deal over there?
Oh, oh, you didn't hear this from me, but I think he's got a little bit of a crush on me. He's been following me around the entire trip up here. I can't seem to shake him, but we don't mind a little attention every now and then, do we?
You could certainly do worse.
You're not wrong. He's quite nice to look at, I suppose. But
You know what they say about elves.
I don't. Please enlighten me.
She kind of chokes on her drink a little bit. And she kind of giggles a bit with the human girl next to her. They have a lot of time to practice.
She will chuckle, like, like wholeheartedly laugh and just be like, I mean, you're not wrong. So I suppose I'll let you know later if all that practice pays off or not.
And eliciting a few giggles from another couple girls that have like surrounded.
Um, I will talk for a few more minutes, and then at some point she'll kind of just be like, "So how would one go about getting the Margrave on their side? He seems like they're supposed to be impartial, aren't they? Or
I mean, it depends if you'd call the military impartial.
I suppose that's fair. So basically, they help. Mr. Christian helps him, and the Margrave helps Mr. Christian. Maybe, I don't know what the military could possibly want. These things fascinate me, how it works up in the
What does anyone want?
usually power, money, or pretty woman.
Case in point? Money and power. I don't know if the Margrave and Mr. Christian are a thing, but I wouldn't speculate. I wouldn't be surprised either.
But isn't he married? Candles.
You haven't met Mr. Christian, have you?
I
Or Lady Avelle?
No, I haven't had the pleasure.
Well, you didn't hear this from me. But their marriage might be a bit more open than most.
Oh, do you say? Well, how very forward thinking of them.
Miss Avelle is a very modern woman. I think you would either like her or be amused.
Well, if I ever get the chance to see her interacting, because I doubt I'll ever get the chance to speak to her myself, I will keep an eye out for the amusement that she provides.
Where do you think I get most of my gossip?
Do tell. You know her then? You get to speak to her?
I mean, she runs the house.
It's fair.
We see her frequently. We always have. And she points over to a tray that's sitting by the door. Looks to be some sort of pastry on it. We always have something on retainer for when she visits.
Oh. Well, I'm sure then she has quite a good time visiting you, as you are all very lovely people. And she'll kind of just let the gossip until she has to go get changed for dinner.
As you turn tail to leave the kitchen, kind of leaning against the wall, arms crossed, and he gives you a look.
Yes. You
Nothing.
could hear anything that was said, could you?
I was standing right there.
You were supposed to be several feet away from me.
You heard that woman. She talks very loud.
Well, anything that I may have said was purely for conversation topics.
No, of course. And I'm
Don't.
sure anything that was said about me was pure speculation.
Oh, please. We both know that I just made that up to know that you wouldn't blow my cover. Don't flatter yourself.
Don't flatter yourself. Kind of says under his breath as he drops back to his 5 paces behind you.
And yeah, I'll go get changed and get ready for dinner. Interesting.
Actually,
Okay.
since you're dressed like a servant and you gave him the vibe did you give him the vibe that you were trying to blend in?
Yes.
Then he'd walk next to you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not 5 paces behind.
At least until we get changed and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll walk you back to your room and then leave you to change for dinner, and he'll go change himself.
Okay, I've got a couple threads to
Respectful.
pull on
What?
now. Oh, sorry, what?
What?
I said I have a couple threads that I actually can kind of, at least, maybe get a little more information on some of these. So, yeah, anyway.
Okay.
It's nice.
Awesome.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right. So heading into dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Christian. It's quite lavish. A very long table, a red and gold runner down the middle. For sake of brevity, they don't talk business at the dinner table, so that will be saved for later. Any information that you'd like to try to gain from them, you may attempt.
I don't know how much she would really just start trying to. She would, under the guise of being a young and learning diplomat, she would just ask questions about like the government and the Margrave and how all that works, and just kind of like, you know what I mean, and then try to insight her way between what is being said and what's, you know what I mean, like being implied, but seeing if there's anything she can glean. But she doesn't figure she'll get too much from just talking to them right now.
Okay. How are you just directly asking? How are you going about this?
No, she's more just like, oh, you know, I'm a young diplomat. I'm still learning the ways of politics and government, and any help or
Yes.
advice.
And is as is a as a how do I say this tactfully? A man with slightly textbook narcissism is wont to do, is more than happy to explain it to you.
And she will hang on his every word.
It's dripping in condescension, and Lady Vasily is giving you it's a mixed look of distaste and pride. It's an odd mix. Like, yeah, you're doing a good job, but she hates men like this.
Yeah. Yep.
And tries to small talk with Mrs. Christian, with Yvel. They speak about mostly fashion, the good shops in Kaimol, how dreadfully dull it is here, how she needs to come visit Singorn to see some real shops, her convincing her husband they need to come to Singorn at some point. He's too busy for work. You know how it goes. But it's all, the fare is exotic for compared to Singorn. It's all traditional Marquesian fare, and honestly, a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Aside from the looming need to get blackmail from this guy.
Yep. That's not stressful at all.
But Lady Vasily and Callus end up, they retire for a nightcap, and Yvel retires early, and Vasily dismisses you.
Oh, joys. Okay. What would Valya do now?
You know they have a private meeting tomorrow to discuss the numbers, and your job tomorrow is to do your thing.
Yes.
And keep it quiet.
All right. So I guess she will retire and prepare the next day to let's see, where could she go to get more information about him?
Well, there's the nice side of the nice side of town and the crappy side of town.
Probably the crappy side of town. I don't know.
Want to go to the crappy side of town?
Well, she doesn't want to, but usually you can pay your way into getting all sorts of information from people. But
okay.
But let's be real here though. Valya
as far as information, at dinner last night, you did find out that a man by the name of Casimir was mentioned apparently Callus's younger brother.
Hmm.
Was just mentioned briefly in passing.
Casimir. Okay.
So your leads so far have been Casimir, his brother, his wife Yvel, possibly his office.
I know, but she doesn't want to really rely on that. That's too stressful. She's not a rogue. She's not like someone who's like sneak, let me go. So here's what we're gonna do. The next morning, I will swing by the kitchen. I will pick up a few pastries, and I will go.
Like dressed as you normally would?
Probably.
Okay.
Well, let me think this through. Hold on, I gotta think how this will work. She'll have Kynan go get her a few pastries and have them just say that it's for his whatever, his boss. And then
very good.
She will take them to. She will try to find Lady Abel and just kind of if she finds unless she's like in her room. I don't know. I don't know where she's at right now, but she'll try to find her.
How early would you be doing this?
Mid-morning. She's not trying
Mid-morning?
to like.
Okay. Because you're on a bit of an elven schedule. Elves stay up pretty late. You pretty much sleep from like clockwise. It's normal for elves to sleep between like what's an appropriate time? Between like how many hours is that? Like 3 a.m. at like 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Dang. Okay.
Like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is kind of what you're accustomed to is the Tarnward market opens at sunset.
Right.
So everything shutting down at sunset is disconcerting for you. And you feel like your night should just be getting started. And then everyone's like, nope, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
The Christians are all humans.
Right. So she would, understanding that, she would probably wait until, mid-morning because she knows and give her time to get up and be doing whatever she does and then go find her.
Okay. Are you just asking the servants?
Yeah, just asking.
And dressed as
Lady Valya, yes.
Excellent. Okay. So you do get directed. She has gone out. She's gone out to the shops with her maids.
Bummer. Okay.
It's on the nice side of town.
Well,
they assure you it's perfectly respectable for a lady to go on her own.
Very well. Kynan, I suppose we're going to the nice side of town.
There's a nice side of town.
That's what they tell me. I'm going to go to the shops, and if I happen to, look who I ran into. Beautiful. If not, then I will track down what's his face. What was his name? The brother's name?
Okay.
Casimir.
Yep. The parents were alliterative. Which actually, funny enough, the names are with these. And then Christian is with a K.
Oh, so. Christian with a K. Good to know.
Yeah, Callus is Calis.
Yes.
And then Christian is Krishtan.
Hey, I spelled it all right besides the K. That's pretty good.
Hey. Yeah, and then Casimir. Like Boromir and Cassian had a baby.
Wait, spell it for me.
You've not seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh no, I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
I haven't seen Narnia. Is that what it's from?
Caspian.
I haven't seen
Narnia. What?
My mom didn't let me growing up.
But you've seen Lord of the Rings.
Not till I was married. So
okay. Acceptable. Fine. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So yeah. CAS IMIR.
Okay, cool. All right, so I will head to the shops, see if I can run into Lady,
All right.
or whatever her name is. Not Lady.
She would love it if you called her Lady Abel.
I'll call her Lady. Lady Abel.
All right. What kind of shops are you looking for?
Well, she will stop by a clothing shop probably because she would like to get some more clothes. She doesn't want to be confined to one outfit. And
Yes, Lady Vasily did restock your funds.
Wonderful.
She had a hidden stash.
Makes sense. So I would go get some clothes, and then what shops would Lady of Bell probably be visiting?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Roll me an insight check based off of
So I know they were talking about fashion last night a lot. You know what I mean? But 19. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, the clothing stores are a good call. She also spoke a bit about books, so maybe a bookshop.
Okay.
But your first instinct says clothing shops.
Okay. So I will just kind of hit as many of the clothing shops that are right around here. She figures there can't be too many, and then I said, you know what I mean?
Not.
Yes.
There are not many. As far as like scanning, you can kind of figure out pretty easily. You don't even have to go inside. You know she wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
You can kind of scan from the outside without having to actually go in. You do find a clothing store called Flinders, and it seems a bit more posh than it's very close to the Christian estate.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. She will head inside and see if she can.
You can tell this side of the market is kind of tailored to the Christians built their estate, and it kind of seems like everything is building themselves around this estate.
Okay.
So if the part of the market that you pass through on your way in, that was a lot more common. Going through the market square, that was a lot more. There's produce, there's general stores, there's all of the common places.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
But as you near the Christian estate, it gets nicer and nicer. And it's kind of just centered around that. You do pass as you're leaving the Christian estate, you do see a section near the Christian estate. How close is it? Oh, I cannot read my own freaking handwriting, man. Okay, where is their estate? Okay, yeah. So the estate is pretty much walled in on its own. It is a separate set of walls. They have their own personal gate, and they have a gate that separates them from the rest of the city. So you have to pass through the Christian gate, and
Gotcha.
yes, the guards know to let you in and out. Don't worry about it.
Makes sense.
But the first thing that you pass on your way to the market is this leveled out lot amidst the other buildings, and it's got a couple pick signs planted out in the front lawns. Painted on the front, it says future location of the Maiden's Wish Casino.
Ah.
Right to the estate. So you pass by that. There's a surprisingly nice hotel that you spot called the Dowager. there's a couple more. Yeah, Valia wouldn't go there. You can also see, you're not going that direction, but you see what appears to be more of a business district.
Mm.
Where the merchants operate out of, towards the right, towards the main gate, the north gate. And then you're heading the opposite direction towards the market district. It's a bit more of a crowded residential area, but crowds are where the stores are at.
Yep.
Roll me a perception check. Or investigation.
16.
16? Okay, it takes you... How long would you spend, would you say?
Well, if there aren't too many nice clothing shops, she would probably spend a couple hours trying to, narrow down which one she thinks that she might be in. You know what I mean? Because if she looks at it and it's like she's not going to be in there, she's not going to go in there. So so it shouldn't take her too long, hopefully, to narrow down.
Yeah, so it takes you a while to get down to the market area, going on foot, and it's a bit crowded, so the foot traffic's a bit slower. And you head into this one more posh-looking shop called Flinders. A very prim, well-dressed, a human girl with blonde hair pulled back into a tight bun. She has smaller gold spectacles on her nose, stands very straight. The most elven-like human you've seen. Very elegant girl. Yes, how can I help you? Welcome to Flinders. Are you looking for something in particular?
Oh, I was hoping to peruse your selection of jewelry that you might have. I am in dire need of some more pieces.
Of course. We have a few imported pieces that we've bought from the Christian family themselves, brought over from Ankara. Would you like to see those?
I would love to, yes.
So she'll take you over to a case. It's a fine selection of rubies of varying shades of reds to pinks, all set with different types of, some with diamonds, some with sapphires, all very lovely.
Yeah. Valia will be looking at the different pieces. Do I see the Vel in here?
Oh, yeah, I had you roll for that. I forgot. You do see a small group of some twittering girls in the corner, and they appear to be surrounding this red-haired woman. And a very loud laugh breaks out, and the smaller laughs follow. She turns. It is Val.
So she'll just be like to the cell lady, I'll just take, and she'll point at one of the napkins. I'll just take this one, but I'm going to keep looking for a minute. And she'll kind of walk on, and she'll just walk towards where she is. Just be like, oh, Lady Vel, what a coincidence seeing you here. Although not really a coincidence, seeing as you have impeccable taste, I'm sure. And this is probably the best shop I've seen in town so far.
Lady Valya, you flatter, and I accept. I do have immaculate taste, and
flattery if it's true, though.
Yes, but I love it anyways. Now, what do you think of this ribbon? And she'll show you a few different selections that she was perusing with the girls.
She will give her opinion, honest opinion.
Honest opinion.
Yes.
Well, what are you in town for?
Well, I was hoping to just pick up a few pieces of some jewelry and some clothes, seeing as we had that unfortunate incident with the bandits on the way here.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Gotta get, well, plus traveling, you gotta get some souvenirs to take back home. You got
It's
a boyfriend. I've got a great shop that I'm always getting Cal stuff from.
really, what shop would that be? I'm very interested.
What did I say? Oh wait, no. You, wait, they sell men's thing here. It's not just women's clothing.
Sure, exactly. So it's
Other
just
side of the room.
yes.
It's an adjacent building.
Ah,
Yeah, so this building is Flinders Fancies. That's the women's section, and then there's Flinders Finery, which is the next building
I
over.
love it.
That's the men's
I
section.
love it. Good job. She's like, oh, and so what exactly? Do you have anything you recommend? Something that maybe Callis has particularly enjoyed?
Well, Cal's a little bit more into. He definitely likes the silks, and he's actually been really into stuff that we've got imported from Singorn.
Really interesting.
And I know as far as jewelry wise, he's kind of been on this dwarven kick. So I got him a couple pieces from Craghammer, you know. Um hmm. But,
See, I don't think my I do not know what to call somebody. Like I'm trying to. You don't say
your
boyfriend.
paramour.
What?
Your paramour.
My beau. I don't even know what you're like. Would be very interested in dwarven. He doesn't seem like that type. I don't know. I'll have to. I'll think about it.
These Alvin guys. And she kind of levels a gaze at Kaiden. Alvin guys are just so refined. Such refined palates.
They really are, honestly. I quite enjoyed my time with some elven men, but not that you would, know anything about that. So,
I don't kiss and tell.
oh, Lady Vel, are you telling me that you do know what I'm talking about?
I'm not saying it.
Oh, well, maybe you can then give me some tips on what you think an elven man might like.
I don't know if I could, actually. See, the thing is, how do I say this? I can't say this in polite society. And she'll, like, kind of pull you away from the maid a little bit. They're not usually around long enough to get to the gifts thing.
Even better, don't waste your money on them. They don't need all that.
I reckon they live long enough to buy whatever they want, anyways.
That's very true. How astute of you.
How old are you? Is it impolite to ask?
Well, it can be, but for someone as endearing as you, I don't mind. I am 120, so on the young I'm not. So on the young side of, being an elf.
Huh. So I've heard that adulthood, that you're like legally allowed to do things on your own at 100. Is that right?
Yes, pretty much. 100 is kind of the age where you're considered to reach full maturity.
Okay. She seems a bit disturbed by this knowledge. Visibly, like, I'm not even going to make you roll an insight check. She seems visibly disturbed.
Because it's so old?
That you can roll me an insight check for.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's throwing her off here. 16.
Whatever elf she was talking about, she might have just found out was a minor by elf standards.
Volly will be like, but there are definitely some elves who go into the world a bit early when they feel like they're ready for it. So, it is just a general consensus, but it's
A rule of thumb.
a rule of thumb. That's a great way of putting it.
Great. Okay, cool. And she kind of brushes it off a little.
Um, Okay, so how do I direct this so I can get some more information out of her? I'm genuinely trying to think of this. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, she'll just be like, well, your secret's safe with me. I'm obviously not one who will go about and um uh talking to anybody about the things that go on in our personal lives. You know, what's a lady's allowed to have a little fun, so
See, you get me, Valya. Can I call you Valya?
of course, Valdia's perfect. If I could call you a Belle.
Perfectly fine with me.
So I imagine that your husband gets awfully busy sometimes, so you'll have to find, things that he doesn't need to know about that you can fill your time with.
Oh, certainly. I mean, Cal practically single-handedly rebuilt this economy. This town had nothing after the gold dried up. And then Cal showed up and he's showing everyone that there's a better way. My
Oh, yeah.
Cal he is the new Kaimel. And I'm glad people are starting to see that. And once he
Oh,
builds this casino, uh, you should just talk to him about his vision. He's a brilliant man.
I would love to. I am very interested to hear all about it. I mean, I'm sure the Margrave is thrilled to have someone bringing in some more income, some more just excitement to this town.
Well, the thing is, he's not exactly thrilled about making Sangorn some sort of tourist destination. Because, I mean, yeah, more money, but makes his job harder.
Hmm.
So, like, I mean, I guess the Margrave would get paid more if we had more tourism. But he just doesn't care about the people. Cal
Hmm.
cares about the people.
Indeed.
And he cares about Kaimel.
Of course. I mean, it almost seems like, well, no, I can't say that. Well, I just think that it seems like Cal might be better at running this place. He has such a good vision for how it should go. I mean, if he really had a little more authority over it, I think it could be very, very helpful for this place.
And see, that's the plan. Basically, the Margrave, by the time we're done with this place, the Margrave's going to be an honorary title.
Because if you control all the gold and all the income, then of course you're going to have the most say in how things go down.
You get it?
Brilliant.
I knew you were well bred. The minute
Of
I saw you.
course.
Now, I've just had so much trouble, and kind of looks over at the girls that she was with. So much trouble finding people of decent breeding in this country. Ankarel is a different, very different city. Probably a bit more like your Sangorn.
Oh, I can imagine, but with its own beautiful twist that I would love to see one day. It
Oh,
sounds absolutely amazing. And for people of yourself to come from, it has to be such a wonderful place.
you've got to get out there one day. Let me tell you, it is the jewel of Marquette. I adore it. I would go back any day, but Cal, we found our calling here.
A place that's ripe for his influence.
Exactly. It's basically like, Ankarel is basically like your Iman. And what we want to do is we want Kaimel to be the new Ankarel.
The new, so they want like the new, because Ankar's the capital, right?
Ankarel is it the capital?
No, wait. She said, what did she say? She said something's like Amon. What did she say was like Amon?
Oh, Ankarel. Ankarel is a city in Marquette.
Okay. So
Iman,
Marquette's
Iman is the capital of Tal'Dorei. Marquette is a different
right.
continent.
Right. So she said that Ank'Rel's like Iman, and she wants
Yeah.
Kymel to be the new Ank'Rel.
Yeah, she wants Kymel to be the Ank'Rel of Tal'Dorei,
Ah, I see.
basically.
I see. Well, I think that with Callus's brains and with your beauty, you guys will be able to accomplish that in no time. And I do hope that when you guys are really the ones running the town, that I will be able to come back out and visit and maybe have an even better time and some new and improved Kymel.
Can I tell you a secret?
Love secrets.
We already do run this town.
But the Margrave, he seems to have a lot of power behind him.
You're well off, aren't you, Val?
And what?
You're well off,
Oh.
aren't you, Val?
I would say yes. I would say so, yes. I mean,
Well, here's something, a little tip that I'd like to teach you about the more common folk. Everyone has a price.
even the Margrave? Well, it has been absolutely lovely talking to you.
You get me. We should get tea. We
I
should
would
get tea
love
later. Maybe I could get Cal and my new best friend Tusia in, and we could all maybe have some tea later after we discuss, after they discuss all the numbers.
nitty-gritty.
Ugh.
Yes. Ugh. No, I think that would be lovely. I would be honored to have tea with you.
Now tell me about Tusia. She seems so not reserved, but what she puts out, you feel like there's depths below. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, she is such a fascinating woman. I mean, even I don't quite know her as well as I would like to. She's very smart and very good with all of the numbers and politics and all the stuff that I think could be rather tedious, but she's quite good at it, and so it makes her invaluable in certain areas.
Cal
But
says I'm a natural politician, which I don't really get the whole politics thing, but I think he just means that I'm good at talking to people.
well, you are very good at talking to people, and that's pretty much all it is, right? Is getting people to see your way of thinking. So
Exactly.
and I think that Entusia, she is brilliant at it, but she definitely has a soft spot for people who are well bred and have a lot of refined taste, such as yourself. She rather likes you, I think. So, and
I
she
knew
doesn't
it.
like everybody.
Tusia, no.
Yes.
But she's so well spoken and so sweet.
Oh, yes. But of course, she just has, but I'm just saying, she may have a general feel kindness towards everybody, but she likes you a lot. That's all.
Fair enough. All right. Have you spoken any to Casimir?
I have not. I've only heard his name in passing, but he seems very intriguing.
Well, you didn't hear this from me, but Cal and I are trying to set him up with a more eligible lady. I think the age difference might be a little bit of a turnoff for him. As pretty as you are, I just think he wouldn't be super into, being just a blip on your timeline. He's a romantic, like, ugh, whatever. He's fine. But
I would still love to meet him, though, just because, I mean, I feel like I have to at this point, now that I've heard so much about him.
well, we'll see. We'll see if we have time for that. Because you already owe me a tea. How long are you guys staying?
How long are we staying?
Pretty much till the end of the deal. Maybe a day after, if you pushed Vasily for it.
Sure. Just a day or two, unfortunately. We have so many things to get moving with this deal, so.
I'm just saying, you could vacation in worse spots than Kaimel.
Indeed. This Kymel is much better than a lot of people have said. I think much to be owed to your influence.
Thank you. Now, I'm not saying I'm single-handedly keeping this place open, but
But
we're slowly bringing some taste and refinement into Kaimel, slowly but surely. Eventually, it'll be a little oasis.
well, I, for one, will be happy to visit again and just see how much better you've made it. So I look forward to our tea later, though, and I will let you go back to your shopping and finish up mine, and then, get refreshed a little bit before we have our tea time.
I look forward to it.
All right, then. Bye, Bella. Oh, so like turn on, like airhead. No, I'm just kidding. No, she like makes middle note. I need to tell Lady Vasily that she thinks she likes her. Okay.
Noted.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to write down the little things that I got from her. So
Honestly, as far as dirt goes, what you've got is pretty good.
pretty good. Sweet.
Or tell me what you've got written down.
Okay, so he is back on drugs. 2, they have a pretty open marriage, so lots of people in and out. A little scandalous. 3, mostly that they pretty much already run this town, and that by building this casino, they'll probably just be furthering their control over it by bringing in the money and having that income and controlling most of the revenue that's coming in and out of this place. And she alluded to the fact that anyone can be bought, including the Margrave. So the Margrave may at this point mostly just be a figurehead.
If you wanted to track down Casimir, she did let you know that he's currently working. He has, in light of Callus starting this new venture with the casino, his brother Casimir has taken over as the acting head of the Mid-Valley Merchants, which is their not international, but it's a national merchant guild. It's decently big, enough to fund their pretty much rebuilding the city.
Dang, the merchant guild that he's the head of is big enough to fund the wow.
They're pretty much just looking for investors to have. It's less that they need the money and more that they're networking. They're building relationships with other people in power.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to keep my notes straight. Not that it matters too much, but
hey, this could totally come up eventually.
It could, and so that's why I'm just trying to make sure I have.
Granted, it'll be 15 years later, so you don't know what the heck's going on in Kaimel now.
It's true. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, that'll be so funny if you ever come back here.
I know. Just be like, well, there's a good casino I know about. Okay.
Let me go see my buddies that run the city.
Yep. Lady of Bell. Ah, so good to see. Okay, so here's the thing. I know it's after 11 for you already. So I'm just thinking, how much is it something where it's like we should do another like hour and a half later? Or do you think we should just try to
Honestly,
see you run and wrap this up?
I think what you've been able to acquire is sufficient
Sure.
to
This
what
is
Lady
just
Vasily
it's
requested.
still fun. I'm enjoying this little thing. But yes, this is probably
Is there anything else you would like to do before you guys head back to Singorn?
I was interested in meeting Casimir. I just don't know if there's anything I'll really be able to like if how useful it will be. But that'd probably be about the only thing, realistically, I think.
For sake of brevity, I can tell you he can't tell you anything that Yvel has not already told you.
And probably I'm not gonna get much more out of Callus, realistically. Like, I mean, and she's still a baby, so I'm like she's or like as in like new to this world.
She's not that bold.
She's not that bold, and she's not at the point where she's just like, yeah, let me just seduce this guy and get him to tell him everything. Like, so this is probably where she's like, I did pretty good. What?
For sake of brevity, would you want to speedrun roll to see if you could seduce Casimir? Because I was actually kind of unsure how I wanted to play that out.
I know, right?
So for this, if you would like to, I will give you a series of rolls to see how successful you are with it and what kind of information you can gather.
Okay.
From the time spent.
Okay.
So tell me how much time you're going to spend working the mark.
This is like, so has she at this point realistically been trained? Like, this is does she understand that this is kind of part of what the training is supposed to like, you know what I mean? Like, this is something where it's like,
I would leave that up to you. Do you want me to decide? I can decide.
Yeah, I want you to decide.
Okay. I would say yes, your training has covered this.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if it was something where it was like, oh yeah, gather blackmail, and then later it was like, okay, yeah, but there's a better way to do this. But oh, hello. I know I'm getting off just a second. Here, let me get it. I'm gonna move so that way you can go to bed. Yeah, we'll just do. Let me take my dice. Let me just do a couple rolls, and then that way we can wrap it up really quick. Okay. Ooh. Grab my thing real quick. Sorry. I know, right? Okay, so a couple rolls, and then really quick, and then we gotta get off. I did tell Josh that was gonna be off a little while ago, or a couple minutes ago. So
okay,
let's go.
Cool. I can just have you make I'm gonna treat this like a skill challenge.
Sure, let's go for it.
And so you can tell me 3 skills that you would like to use to successfully seduce this man, and well, seduce him and get the information.
Okay. Persuasion would definitely be one.
3 skills. And you can tell me what skills you want to use and how they will help your case.
Sure. Okay. Persuasion's definitely one. Just trying to, generally be convincing. And then let's see. I think maybe investigation for just like being attentive to what like is going on and taking what she's already known and then like wrapping it around into what he's.
For investigation, if you wanted to search his room.
Yeah, probably after his sleep, maybe.
Okay.
And then let's see. And then what else could I do? I don't really know.
Hypothetically, a performance check, no pun intended.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great.
I mean, you could play for him. You have your lyre with you.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so persuasion check.
Yeah, I'd say order-wise, go performance, persuasion, investigation.
Okay. Performance is a 16.
Okay.
And then persuasion is +5, 15. And then what was the last one?
Investigation.
An 18. So
okay. 3 consecutive successes. So basically you just had to get 3 consecutive successes before 3 consecutive failures, and you just got 3 successes in a row.
Wonderful.
So that works. You are successful in your night's events. You are very successful.
Okay.
The performance you gave on your lyre is surprisingly, you were surprised with yourself with how well you were able to perform under pressure.
Yeah.
As this is something you have not done as part of the job. You've been trained to do it, but it's not something you've actually done on the job before.
Yeah.
So a little bit nerve-wracking. For the persuasion, he's not difficult. He's not difficult for you to get your flirt on, get on his good side.
Yeah.
And he'll take you back to his place, which is an adjacent estate. It's within the gated off Christian estate, but it's a separate house.
Yeah.
And for the investigation, what was the investigation? Was an 18?
18, yeah.
Okay. You were able to find and copy down half of a ledger. You ran out of time eventually, but you were able to quickly copy down half of a ledger detailing some of their more illicit trade to Iman specifically.
Okay, cool.
You were careful not to select anything related to Singorn.
Right, fair enough.
So you did see within that ledger detailing their dealings with Singorn, the illicit goods going in and out, the money changing hands. You see it. It's there. But you only copy down the pages of the
I think that Valya would probably make a little copy for herself just of the Singorn things and keep it for herself.
Okay.
Not include it in the...
Go ahead and roll me a general dexterity check to
Oh,
see just because you're rushing how
Yeah.
legible this is.
sure.
I'd give you performance.
Okay. I'll take performance. That's a 14. So decent.
Okay. Yeah, it's legible.
Cool.
A bit rushed. Not your greatest handwriting, but
Yes.
it works.
Okay. And that will be
Not
it.
bad. So you have some paper proof, some paper
Yep.
detailing, and you know for future reference the location of where
Right.
Casimir Krishtan keeps his ledgers.
Yeah.
If
All
you
right.
should need it in the future.
Exactly.
But
Right.
along your way back to Kymel, a successful journey, you've handed off the ledger.
Back to Sangorn.
Yes, back to Sigmund.
Okay. Yeah.
You pass off the ledger you copied and the information to Lady Vasili. She's pleased with your work. And you're walking the horses back up to the citadel with Kynan. Did you try to slip away from Kynan for this job?
The
Or did
last
you let
bit,
her follow you? Yeah.
she probably did. Yeah. She didn't really want.
Okay. You can try. You're going to need to roll me a stealth check to see if you can slip.
Oh boy.
Contested by his active perception.
Okay. Well, that was a 11.
I don't even need to try to find his modifiers. You believe you slipped. You believe you lost him. You don't think he's following you.
Okay. Okay.
But when you exit Casimir's residence in the morning to go back to the main estate, you hear footsteps behind you, and you see Kynan 5 paces behind.
Oh, hello? I didn't think that you were around. Uh,
I know how to do my job.
and I know how to do mine. She kind of says under her breath, like, obviously, you know that anything you see or hear can't be talked about, so very uncomfortable, like not looking at him really.
He's still walking 5 paces behind you.
Right.
It's not my job to talk.
Right. All right. Well, I guess we better get back.
It is my job to listen and to look after you.
Unfortunately, there's not much I can say at this moment, but it is appreciated.
So next time you need to do something like that, don't try to slip me.
I'm sure you can understand why I
Yes.
didn't. Yeah.
Don't try anything like that again.
Or what? You'll follow me? Bad joke. Anyway, I won't. At this point, why bother? Just kind of just like awkwardly, just kind of like, okay, leave it at that.
He doesn't say anything.
Right on.
So
Okay.
you make your way back to Singorn.
Mm-hmm.
The familiarity of being back in the city, the familiar walkways, the Galestone buildings, the intricate carvings. It's familiar. The familiarity sinks into your skin, warm, and the warmth turns into crawling. You can't shake this feeling that this emissary thing, it won't end well. As you're nearing the gates of the Emerald Citadel, you hear a voice in your head. You really ought to watch your back, dear one. Don't forget, all they care about is what you'll give them willingly, or what they can take from you.
She kind of just like chuckles. And that's why I want to get out.
I believe I see you, dear one. I know a caged canary when I see one. Spirits like yours, like mine, they're not meant to be caged. I'd like to offer you a deal. I've been watching. You're smart, you're resourceful. I think we can help each other.
I'm listening.
You help me free, I get you free.
Free from your cage, your bottle.
Yeah. I think fair is fair. Whichever comes first, really. I mean, if we manage to get you free through more conventional means before you get the chance to get me out of here, I mean, that works all well and good too. But if you get me out of here, is all I have to do. And this all goes away.
Well, I don't really know where to start on that, but I don't see very many options for me, so a deal's a deal. I'll figure it out. Hopefully I'm as resourceful as you think I am.
You feel a warmth different from that crawling warmth of returning here. It's not cold, it's cool, like a cool summer breeze in the heat. And you see the bright amber glow lights the amulet and outlines that sigil, but brighter this time. You feel this rattling in your bones, a deafening roar in your ears like thunder, and then quiet. Just the footsteps of people around you, the quiet bustle, the scraping of the gates of the Emerald Citadel opening. Our cages might be gilded, dear one, but they are cages nonetheless. Don't forget that.
I couldn't if I tried.
And that seems a good a place as any to
Yes.
wrap up.
That was good. That was really good.
My
Yay.
one-on-ones are consistently running an hour longer than I intended.
Well, it happens. But it is really late, and I did tell Joshua that I was going to go. So, but no, that was really fun. So,
Tired,
good job.
and that went a lot better. Oh, I'm gonna end the live.
Yes.